Welcome back to Forgotten Working Class Podcast. I am Tiffany.
I'm John.
Today we have with us Brandon. You can find Brandon on TikTok at Northern Hoosier Outdoors. Brandon, thank you for being with us.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
How old are you?
32.
32. Are you married? Do you have children?
Yep, married and we got 3 kids.
Wow, busy.
All the time.
So your TikTok, the name, where did you come up with that?
So I was born and raised in Indiana until I was about 8, 9 years old. And Indiana's known as the Hoosier State. And so that's where that kind of originated from. I was trying to come up with a name when I was creating my YouTube and a Facebook page and all that fun stuff. And I'm like, I put that in there and I wasn't seeing anything come up. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll run with that. And I'm from Northern Indiana and moved north. So it fits. I'm the Northern Hoosier. So.
Love it. That's funny. So where are you at now?
I'm in central Minnesota.
Okay. How far is that from Indiana?
It's about a 10-hour drive from where I used to live. As long as there's not a whole lot of stops and people aren't taking long potty breaks.
Very true. What ages are your kids?
The oldest one is 11, and then the middle one, she's 9, and then the youngest one is going to be 3 in December.
Aw, you have
good ages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The older one, I'm sure, can help a little bit.
Both of the older kids help a lot all the time. So yeah, it's great.
That's awesome. So what do you do for work?
Primarily, I'm a custodian. I'm a night lead custodian, and we clean like 2,500. Or sorry, I had that wrong. 250,000 square feet a night, and there's 4 of us, and 99 toilets, and 650 garbages, and it's a lot.
Jesus.
Right. Yeah. So that's
a lot.
Yeah. That's my every 4 days. 4 days is my my work week. I do 4/10s, so I get my Fridays off, which is nice. So I have a 3-day weekend, and I don't even start until like 4:30 on Monday. So I pretty much have almost 4 days off if you think of it that way, which makes it nice for fishing and stuff. Like I'll go on a fishing trip. I'll get on the road Thursday night after I get off work, and it's late shift. So it's like early morning when I leave, and I'll get to wherever I'm going, and I'll fish all day Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday's driving home. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm glad you have time to enjoy
incredible.
Life.
Yeah, it makes it nice that way. And the same thing, like even if I'm not fishing or hunting or anything, it's family time. It makes it easier that way. Like I don't get a lot of family time during the week. I still get to see the kids a little bit. They're mainly in school right now when I'm at home, because I'm at home during this time of the day. The wife's at work, and then I'm with our almost 3-year-old, and then I end up going and picking up the kids from school, and then once I get them back here, then I go to work. So yeah, it's it's a constant. And then I've got side jobs. I paint houses on the side. I clean houses. I do glass engraving, so artwork, and then my fishing stuff. So
going back to your janitorial stuff, this sounds like a massive building. I mean, without saying, you don't have to say where.
It's multiple buildings. It's multiple buildings. It's like courthouse and sheriff's station and stuff like that. Family services buildings. And so we have to maintain all of that stuff, and there's always people in there every day, and it's a job that is never done.
Yeah. So government buildings.
Yes.
Very important places.
Yep.
How long have you been doing that?
3 years as of this August.
Wow.
Before that, I'm sorry, what?
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, before that, I worked at a school for multiple schools over the course of 9 to 10 years. I worked with children primarily. Usually it was, I was working with special needs kids, and I was an IA, an instructional assistant. So I helped the teacher out in the classroom, helped the students. But along with that, I did side jobs or more jobs after that was over. like after school, I would take care of janitorial stuff also. So that's kind of where that started. And then I actually started my house cleaning stuff on the side because of working there. Some of the teachers asked me if I could come clean their houses because they knew that I cleaned, and I'm like, sure. So that got me started doing that. And without that, I can tell you right now, the main job is not enough to keep us afloat. So if it wasn't for side jobs, we wouldn't be able to to make it. So
I love your work ethic. Like, just
thank you.
so respectable. And the fact that you are openly talking about janitorial services, like, that's not something that you hear most people, doing for jobs. I think
Mhm.
that at least people don't recognize,
Right.
When John was in the hospital, the woman who came in to clean, I was like, no, 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 no. Like, give me your mop. Let me do it. Let me bag up the trash. Let me help you. Like, you guys deserve so much respect because you are
Thank you.
keeping these places clean. And it's so important. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I hope that the people in those government buildings acknowledge you and, respect you. So even though they don't see you
Usually.
overnight.
Usually, that's the hardest part is the day guys get more recognition than we do because they see them. But there's a few that stay after, and they definitely they appreciate us. We usually get like leftover pizza, or they'll buy us donuts and stuff. So I'm
That's
surprised
cool.
that I'm not looking like Santa Claus yet, but it's getting there.
That's awesome. I'm glad you get some recognition. You deserve it. So
Right.
then you said you do engraving?
I do glass engraving. That was something. So I've been doing artwork since I was in diapers, so like 5 years now. No, when I was a kid. So when I was little, family members they'd get me like coloring books and stuff, and I didn't want to color them. I wanted to draw my own stuff. So mom started just getting me blank paper and pencils and everything, and just let me draw my own things. And over the years, that just progressed into painting and pretty much any kind of art medium that you could think of. I've probably done it. Um, to the point that I've shifted now more so away from just drawings and paintings, and I've moved more into engraving glass and wood burning. And I mean, we used to do Comic-Con a lot. Before COVID happened, we used to dress up for Comic-Con, and I made all of our costumes and stuff. So like, I've done that kind of stuff. When I was in school, I was in theater, and so I made the set. I made the costumes and stuff for everybody, and then usually I was the main character of the play. So it's one of those where I'm definitely not like in my calling right now, working as a janitor. But
That's all right.
I'm making it work, right?
Yeah.
I have to ask though, where did your artistic side come from?
Both sides.
I mean, because it's truly incredible. Most men don't want to clean, paint, and do artistic things. It's like kind of one or the other, and you do it all.
I'm the woman in the relationship.
I love it. I love it. Like,
the wife works on cars. She can. She's fixed the cars. Here's the thing: the wife fixes the cars if something goes wrong, and I'm the one that fixes clothing. If something needs a button put on, I'll sew the buttons. Okay, and I'll own that.
listen, your kids are going to be so well rounded. That's
Yeah.
incredible. What does she do for work?
She's actually she's at the hospital. She just got this job. She's working in the pharmacy, but it's nice. She gets to work with her sister, and half the people that she works with, she already knew ahead of time. So they were friends before they even started working there. So it's nice.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just blown away. Like, really and truly, your kids are going to be so well rounded. I hope you're teaching them everything.
Trying to.
That's awesome. So your cups, like, what can you do on them?
I was just gonna ask if you had one.
Oh, I've got more than one. But these are the main
Holy
ones.
moly.
The main ones that I do are the mountain glass, and I can do it on any glass. It doesn't have to be a mug. I can do it on wine glasses, whiskey glasses. I've thought about doing shot glasses, but I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't played around with them. But the mountain ones are easy for me, where it's it just kind of flows. Like I'll be doing TikTok lives and stuff, and I'll be looking at the camera and talking to people, and I'm just doing this. I'm not looking at the glass, and they're like, "How are you?" And I'm like, "It's muscle memory. It's just I've done it enough that it's muscle memory." And I look down and I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm in the right spot," and then I just keep talking to them and doing my thing. So like this one that I just showed you was a set of 4. I've got 4 of those. I sell them individual. I sell them as a set. You know, when people buy sets, I try to give them deals on stuff if they're spending more money. And then I do a lot of custom stuff. That the mountains I do kind of in between. So if there's any kind of downtime between a custom order and the next custom order, that's when I'll work on those. And it just kind of lets me calm the mind a little bit, because the custom orders are difficult because I have to draw each thing out. You know, it's just from here. I'm not using a computer. I'm not using any kind of acid, because there's acid in etching, but I do it with a Dremel tool, so I'm engraving it by hand, and it's if I draw it and I mess up, it's over. So so that's, I mean, it's fun. I do animals. I've done a truck. I just got done doing a train, which that one was actually really cool. So this one involves the mountains and other subject matter. The guy that I work with, he actually had a train done because he is a model train enthusiast. So he's got a bunch of model trains, and he wants these for his bar. I guess he's got trains going around his bar. So that's what this one was. So I've got the trusses here, and it's an octagonal bottom. So that's why I'm like, well, this will be kind of neat. I'll make this into the bridge.
It looks neat.
There's a waterfall in the back. And
so what do these run? What does a custom cup run?
So the mountain ones by themselves are $30 a mug. They're not nearly as much effort. They don't take as much time. Whereas with custom stuff, I start that out at $50 and it just goes up from there depending on how much details in it.
Absolutely.
This mug, for example, ended up being $100.
Wow.
But it's because of one. So I told you.
The time that goes into that.
What's that?
The time that goes into that.
Oh yeah, lots of time. And the other thing is I have to buy new heads, and eventually my Dremel tool is gonna go to crap, and I'm gonna have to buy a new one of those. So like, it sounds like it's a good profit, but it ends up evening out a lot of times because of having to buy all the other stuff. So it's pretty much a hobby that I'm getting paid to do a little bit, kind of a thing. So the way that I priced this one, it started out at $50 because it's custom, and that covers like all the mountains and the truss that I did, and the truss was a pain in the butt. But so that was 50, and then when I do like animals or anything like that, any kind of subject matter, I just charge like $10 extra per thing. So you've got 10 for the engine, and then another 10, another 10, another 10, another 10. It ended up being $100. So that's kind of how I did that one.
That's fair. It's completely fair.
How
long did that cup take you?
I guess I wasn't really keeping track of it, but probably like 5 hours.
I was thinking a lot more. I was thinking like a week.
No, well,
still 5 hours.
It was over the course of a week, but it was maybe like an hour here, 25 minutes here. It depends. I've got kids, so I'm not able to just sit and focus on it. The other part is if I didn't work 10-hour shifts and I could just do this at home, then I'd be able to bust them out. I've got a line. I've got people backed up right now that they've paid, but I have not been able to get them all done because I'm busy. And there's not much I can do about that. And thankfully they know. They're like, we get it. You got life, you got kids, you've got jobs and all that other stuff. But, I'm constantly trying to get it worked on and get it done. Thankfully the guy with the train, so he wants another train one done, and then he wants 2 Boundary Waters ones done for like up by Canada. So he wants like a campfire and canoe and all kinds of stuff on it. But he's like, I'm not in a hurry. Just do it whenever you can. So I've got some other ones that are a little bit more pressing. I'm actually going to switch to those for now, and then get back to his probably. So
That's that's like a really unique talent to have,
thank you.
etching on glass.
Yeah.
Incredible. I mean, we've been places where we admire those just sitting on shelves, and now we know somebody who actually makes
Yeah,
them.
sitting down and doing it all by hand. That's incredible.
And that's the thing. A lot of times, the ones that people see are usually done with like lasers
I was
or
just gonna say, like, yeah, the lasers.
something that's like it's printed or whatever, and then they put a chemical over it that etches it itself. Like it's rare to have people actually drawing it out. So each one's unique. Everyone that I do is unique. There's not going to be one that's exactly the same. They match. I mean, I've done ones that they don't even have the same subject matter on them, but they match. Like I did a hunting set. There was a turkey one, a deer one, ducks and pheasants, and they all look like they belong in the set, but they in no way have any of the same stuff on them. So
That's awesome.
Very
yeah, it's
cool.
fun.
Wow.
You make a whole set like that. Yeah, it's
How do people get a hold of you for that? Just TikTok or?
So TikTok put me on the map. Before that, it was just Facebook and word of mouth. It started out with just a few friends that knew me from school, and like teachers from when I was at school, and they knew how my art was, and they saw me just post my stuff on my art page, and they were like, "Hey, I want some of that." Well, then it blew up for a while, and then it calmed back down a little bit after people all got their fill of it, and so it was kind of died off for a few months, and then I started putting it on TikTok, and it blew up again. So and it started to kind of slope back down again now, because it's not like that brand new kind of thing. But I still have people when I do lives, and I do it. Typically during a live, at least someone will be like, "Hey, I kind of want to get in contact with you about it," or like, "When I've got the money, I want to call, talk to you." So there's stuff coming, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So unique.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
And then you were talking about hunting and fishing during your, I
Off
guess,
time.
4 days off. Yeah, off time.
So my main thing, as much as I love art and as much as I've done that throughout my life, and it's a stress reliever, it's very therapeutic, and I love my thing about the glass too. Before I get any further with the other stuff, my thing about the glass is it's art that you can use.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I've got a painting over there that I've done. I've got my mom's painting in the other room. I made a clock. There's a clock over there with fish on it. Like functional art, like the clock is functional art. The other stuff that's just on the wall, I mean, yeah, it's pretty to look at, but the fact that the glass, like, it's something that you can use every day. I've had people tell me they're like, we get so many compliments when people come over to the house for get-togethers or whatever, and they get out the good china, and it's my stuff.
That's awesome.
I'm like, that's cool. I appreciate that.
You ever thought about doing it on like tumblers?
Somebody asked me about doing that. You're talking about like on something like this?
Yeah.
I don't know what that will do. I don't know what that will do to the tumbler, because being metal, I don't know if it'll make it have like sharp edges, and I don't want it to be like burrs. Whereas the glass is smooth.
Okay.
I guess I worry about this having shards.
That makes sense.
But it's something I could try, just to see what it does, because I didn't know what the glass was going to do when I first ever did it. In fact, I'll show you the first one I ever did. First one I ever did was a horse. Let's see if I can get it where you can see it.
Oh, wow.
So this was the first attempt at doing the glass, and then it took off from there.
That is incredible.
And I did 2 of these. So I have the matching one to this in the cabinet, and these ones stay with me. They don't go anywhere.
How long have you been doing this for?
I started doing glass the year that I graduated high school, so 2010.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's a fun thing. It's nice to see my art going somewhere and actually helping me. It's paid the bills plenty of times over. So between that and like painting houses, and I've done just like regular painting. I've done murals on people's walls. You know, it just depends on what people want. Um, but as for the hunting, fishing part of things, um, I've been an outdoorsy guy since I was just little. Same thing. I grew up with art and I grew up with the outdoors. And the outdoors speak to me more than my art does. Uh, the art's more of a when I have to stay home, I can have something to do. If I'm not at home and I can be outside, that's where I'd rather be. I'd rather be out in the woods. Get me lost in the woods by all means. I don't care. Like I don't get lost. I get lost in town. I get lost on streets. Like everybody else, like well, the street tells you where you are. I'm like, doesn't mean anything to me. I know where I'm at when I'm in the woods. Okay. So it's always been one of those things where when I'm out in nature and I'm away from all the hustle and bustle and all the crazy stuff that goes on in our lives, when I'm away from that, I'm actually able to get back to connecting with my, I guess my soul feels good. I'm able to connect and remember things that I don't really remember when I'm here at home or when I'm at work or doing anything like that. But I'll have memories of grandparents or times when I was just a little kid and mom and dad would take me to different places. I mean, we traveled all the time when I was a kid, and I try to do that with these kids too. It's just hard because the economy is just making it difficult for me to be able to do much. But mom and dad did stuff like that, and they were, it was always paycheck to paycheck, and they made it happen. And I've been trying to do the same thing. But I feel like far too many have gotten away from nature and just enjoying what's out there. And I try to get back to it, and I try to give back to it. It's one of those where I don't take more than what I should be putting back into the place. Conservation is a big thing for me, where you have to keep populations in check too, though. Of if you let a deer population get out of hand in the winter, most of them are going to end up having issues getting food because not enough hunters took enough. If you have an overabundance in animals, you're going to have a lower amount of food, and now a lot of them are going to end up starving. And then what you're going to have is a predator boom, because now the predators have lots of extra food that they don't have to work so hard for. And then it's going to make it even harder in the springtime, because now the predators that are doing really well, all the deer and everything else that's born in the spring, they're going to have a whole lot more predators after them, because now they're the only ones left. Yeah. So it's one of those where there's a lot of arguments and stuff on that, but when it comes to conservation, you have to remove some to be able to bring new life about. That's just part of it. Death sadly is part of life.
So are you telling
there's
us
going to be a lot more if you don't keep up with it,
Are you telling us you're sending us venison?
You guys like venison?
Is that what you're telling us? I'm just kidding.
I'm just hoping that we can get some, because freezer's almost empty.
Okay.
But when it comes to what I do outside, it's more so, I'm definitely more so on the fishing end of things. But same thing, conservation when it comes to that. I do a lot of catch and release, because I know there's a lot of people that don't. There's a lot of people that'll keep anything that they catch, and if it's within the regulations, you do your thing, but I only keep what I need. And the big thing for me when it comes to fishing is I want to take, and this is partly because I used to work at a school, so I know what it's like to be working with kids and being a dad. I want to get the kids out into that. I want to get more kids involved in going out and fishing and enjoying the outdoors and getting them away from
phones.
Yeah.
So now, don't get me wrong. we bring those out there because we do tournaments and we have to use our phones for the tournament. It's a visual tournament, so we measure them. It's not a weight tournament; it's a length tournament. Which by doing length tournaments, then it's much harder to cheat, like what the guys that decided to stuff walleyes with weights
Oh, I've
did.
seen that.
What
Yeah,
happened?
Pretty ballsy, right?
What
yeah,
happened?
Pretty ballsy.
very.
It was a weight tournament. So they weigh the fish.
Mhm.
Well, these two guys, they stuffed the fish with weights, with lead weight.
Yep.
So when they weighed this fish that was this big,
Oh.
put it on the weight, and it was like, oh yeah, you're weighing in at like 10 pounds. Everybody was like,
That ain't right.
how is that 10-pound fish? It's not even this size. Well, they ended up cutting it open, and all the fucking weights fall out, and everybody's
Yep.
like, oh,
Well,
Yep.
they just
because
killed that fish for nothing
well,
instead of
they
releasing it
won.
back.
They won like 2 other tournaments before this, so
Mhm.
that really pissed people off because the pot was big.
Right.
Yeah,
They're
they won
raking
a
in,
bunch of
we're
money.
talking thousands
Yeah.
and thousands of dollars that they were jipping people out of because of doing that. And so the fish donkey tournaments that I do, Fish Donkey has it set up where it, like I said, it's done by length, and they have it's an in-app photo kind of it's set up so that you can only take photos of the fish with the app open. You can't use your own photo reel and then send them. It has to be, because then it'll show the time. It actually shows them the place. They don't give out your fishing spots or anything, but they know where you're fishing. So if it's a Minnesota tournament and you're fishing in Wisconsin, they don't let you in. Like, they'll be like, sorry, that fish came from Wisconsin, buddy. You ain't in it. Like, you're out.
Brilliant.
That's really
That's
awesome. Yeah.
genius.
It's a really good app. It actually came around right around when COVID started, and it was a way for people to be able to actually go out and do tournaments and stuff, because a lot of people, because they weren't allowing in-person tournaments, and it blew up. We've got there's people over in other countries that use it. So it's actually really neat. And the kids and I and some of the family, we've been in multiple tournaments over the last few years since I believe about 2020, and the kids, hell, they usually end up out fishing me. Like, they won over $1,000 worth of gear last year with doing their tournaments, and it only cost them $5 to get in it.
That's awesome.
I don't know fish, like you're the fisherman, but Brandon's caught in some really big stuff. I've seen pictures and videos.
It's now, that's the thing, is like, there's plenty bigger fish out there that I've seen people catch, but when it comes to logging hours on the water, I've put so many hours onto the water, it's ridiculous. There's there was a year where the wife, she didn't see me much, unless, whenever I came home after I was done fishing, and I was fishing about 6 days a week. It was just about six days a week, and it was almost all day. Like, it's just the way that it was going. Like, if I wasn't at work, I was fishing. And God bless her for putting up with me for that. But I've had to cut way back because the 3-year-old is in the house, and that added a lot more bills. Him being here added a lot more bills than what we had in the past, and which was expected. But that's why now she's got the job. Like, I was carrying us for the last, I don't know how many years of just side jobs and my main job. I was actually taking care of it, and she was a stay-at-home mom, and we can't do it anymore.
I actually I don't mean to cut you off. I saw a bumper sticker this morning that said, "My biggest financial burden," with a baby's face on it on the back of a car.
Yep.
So true.
Yeah, diapers are ridiculous.
Crazy.
That's why
Formula,
before I got on here with
diapers.
you guys, I told you, I'm in the middle of potty training right now. I'll be right back. Like, because I really need him to get out of diapers. They're ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes to like guiding and stuff, I've been guiding for the last couple of years, but it's been pretty chill. I'm not a big name. People don't know me. It's not something that has like took off until this year. I've got people now that I'm able to do TikTok lives and actually talk to people like this. it's been a little different because now I've had people like, hey, I live in Ohio. I've never gotten to do the stuff that you're doing. Maybe I come up. And so, and that guy actually, one of the guys from Ohio, I actually met him in Vegas. So that was kind of a fun one. We were at a cigar bar in Vegas and met this guy, and we started talking about fishing. And he's like, my dad lives in Minnesota. Maybe I'll have a trip. We'll come up. And I'm like, where's he live? He told me where, and it's like 30 minutes from where I live. I'm like, come on.
Awesome.
That's really cool.
So, but yeah, when it comes to TikTok, I've actually gotten a few customers from that, and this year I've got a few different weekends are booked up now, and I've still got people kind of talking to me about coming. And as of right now, I can only do Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays, just because I have my main job. I can't devote any other time to it, and with my wife working during the day. I could guide during the day if she wasn't doing that, if she was still stay at home. But
well, most people are off on the weekends. So
right.
that's a great timing to take people out.
Right. On that end, there's the thing is there's plenty of retired guys that want somebody to take them fishing though. That's the, like, a couple of my customers, that's where we're at. They're like, if we could, we'd come, on a Wednesday, so nobody's out on the water. I'm like, I get that. I love fishing in the middle of the week because nobody's there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have a boat?
We do have, we've got two different boats. The one is a little duck boat, and I have guided in that one before, but it's usually just a one person and me. And that one's nice because we can get into spots that I can't get with the other boat. It's a flat bottom, so I can go through like 6 inches of water and no problem.
Yeah.
But the other one's a V-hull. It's a 16.5 footer, and we can fit 4 people comfortably in there. But I'm definitely more of an ice fisherman when it comes to guiding. My reasoning for it is there's far more options when you're on the ice. We're able to, and for kids, they can stretch their legs and do their thing, because in a boat they get a little like,
Yeah.
they're antsy. They're like, I'm stuck in a boat. I can't do anything else besides sitting here. And especially if the fish aren't biting as fast as kids need them to, it's a little different. Whereas out on the ice, bring a football, they play football on the ice. We bring a grill out. We bring a cook stove. I've got a 9-man ice house, a 6-man, and a 3-man. So I've got enough room for a lot of people. We had 11 people out on the ice last year, the one day, and we had 22 lines in the water because of that. So we had tip-ups all over the place, which, if you don't know what a tip-up is, it's a flag that'll go up when the fish bites it.
And you start running.
You go running over there, and you grab it, and you pull it up by hand. It's a blast. Yeah, it's, I don't know. I feel like it's much more engaging and freeing being on the ice than being stuck in a boat.
Are you, when you ice fish, are you using these cameras?
Like underwater cameras?
Yeah.
I've got an underwater camera. Actually, I've got 2 of them. One of them I won in a tournament. The other one we've had for years. But
I see that's like the new thing with more and more being used for ice fishing, as those cameras dropping down the water and you can just see the fish come to your bait.
Right. So we've got those. We've got underwater cameras. We've got sonar. So in fact, I think I've got one over there. Just a sec. I'll show you.
My sonar is actually set up for ice fishing too.
How about that? I got both. I've got both. So here is the sonar, the Vexilar. Now I've got the old one. I've had this one for like over 10 years. This is a FL8, and it's got the transducer here. So you put this down the hole, and then this holds it up however deep that you need it to go, and then you'll turn this on. Where am I? And that anywhere that if it's this deep, this will all be really dark red right here. And then if there's fish, you'll see like little red or green dots up the side here, and they'll come in and out depending on where the fish are at. So you can watch them come up to your bait, but that's only reading straight down in a cone.
Yeah.
Whereas if I put this down, this is the underwater camera. Looks like a fish.
Very cool.
Which we've had muskies and pike try to eat this thing, and I've had to fix it a few times. If you see all the hot glue that's on that sucker, yeah.
Oh my God.
But
Hilarious.
And so it's got like a computer screen or whatever. It's just a little. But yeah, I can watch it. Live right there, and then I've got an attachment too that goes to my phone, wireless, where I can view it from my phone. So if I leave the ice house and this is in there, and I'm out checking a tip up, I can be looking at it and I'm like, oh crap, there's fish in the house. I got to get back there. So that's pretty neat, and I can record that way too. I can record them. But the really cool thing, and I don't have it, it's my buddy's, and he's my first mate. He's going to be out there on the ice with me this year. He has the Garmin Live Scope, and that is like both of these things had a baby. So
yeah.
And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It's one of those things where the sonar, the technology with this has come so far where you can make out what kind of fish it is without even catching it yet. Like if there's a pike on the screen, I can tell that it's a pike based on where all the fins are. You can see the fins, you can see its shape and all that stuff, but it's sonar. So it's a really cool product. And it's been a game changer for us out on the ice last year. And even in the boat, you can angle it to look, over 100 feet one way in a direction and find out where they are. So you don't have to drill so many holes. Or you can turn it so it's looking straight down, and then you've got a cone going like this. And so my ice house is about 15 or 16 feet long, the one. So it's like this, and then that cone comes down. Well, we can see the fish underneath the entire ice house. And when we have all of the lines, we put lines against the one wall. So I'll put like 10 holes along the one side of the house, and we'll put all of our lines in there, and we'll have them at different depths. So the depths will be like this, and we'll see where the fish want to come in at, because the fish might be stacked in different spots, but they're feeding at a certain level. So once we figure out what that level is, most of the lines we end up moving to that level, and then we just pound them. So it helps.
Yeah.
So what does it roughly cost to go on one of these adventures with you?
Honestly, it's one of those where there's a wide variety of price range. It starts at $180 for just an adult and a kid for 4 hours. That's a 4-hour trip, but it's one of those where, there's affordable trips, and then there's ones where, you're going to be paying more. You're going to want more people to go with you because you're going to be able to split the difference. So I take up to 6 people. When I had the 11, that was like friends and family, so it was a little different. But when it comes to clients, I prefer to keep it under 6. If for some reason it was a big party, I would just have to negotiate a little bit. But so I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to having a bunch of people, but 6 is usually enough to keep me busy. But bringing kids, I do discounts for kids. I want kids to be out fishing. I want people to be able to bring their kids and not feel like, oh God, I got to pay the same amount for a kid as an adult. God, that sucks. Like they're half the size, and I'm the one paying for everything. They don't pay for shit, like I'm a dad.
You're right. That's how we feel going out to eat. It's ridiculous.
Right. Yeah, 3 bites of macaroni and cheese. You're like, oh, that's great. That was $16.
Right. So that's the thing, is it's like I want to offer that, and it's not even just because of that part. It's the fact that kids need to get out and do this kind of stuff. So if that incentive is what's going to do it, great, fine. Like, do I take a little bit of a cut? Sure. I guess I don't care. First of all, if I'm fishing, I'm a happy guy. So and getting to see the kids, I've got tons of pictures on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, all that stuff. Seeing our kids alone catch fish, and the excitement and the drive to want to keep going out. Even my sister, like my sister's not one that I ever would have thought would have been into it. And she's the one half the time she'll be like, "Are we going ice fishing? Are the kids coming?" I'm like, "All right, let's go. You know, that's fine."
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's definitely it's a family thing. We all go out and have a good time. And when it comes to the charters, like I said, there's 4-hour trips all the way up to I've got 3-day trips. There's 3 days, 2 nights on the ice. Like if you want to camp on the ice, we're camping on the ice.
Awesome.
So it just depends on what people want to do. I've got carbon monoxide detectors, so if the heater was to cut out in the middle of the night, it'll wake us up. I turn it back on. We get the heat going. We don't have that issue. I've got lighting, so like the lights that I'm using right now, it lights it up in there. It's like daytime. We could be fishing for crappies at midnight, and it's completely bright in there. You can see what you're doing. There's no shadows or anything. You can actually tie stuff if you have to retie. And then we've got cots. We've got cots that we're going to be sleeping on and stuff in there. And I'm not going to leave anybody out there. When I do my guiding, I don't leave anybody. So there's different guides that, you know, you come up, and this is something a lot of times that happens on the big lakes, like Lake of the Woods, Mille Lacs, stuff like that. Different outfitters, they'll take you out. They've got different ice houses that are set up for you, and they leave you with your bait and everything that you need, and they say bye. And a lot of times you have to bring your own stuff too. They're just supplying the house. I'm supplying the gear, the bait, food. I'm cooking for you. Like we're going to be doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know, I think the 3-day trip is 8 meals. So, yeah, because it starts at lunch and dinner, and then there's a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then another breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So, and I'm staying out there. What's that?
What do you charge for the 3-day trip?
I don't know what that was. Sounds like my boy just fell off the bed. Just a second. Let me think. I believe the 3-day trip is. That sounds bad.
All right. You go take care of that.
Well, his older brother is helping him. Wait a second. Is he good? Peyton? Is he okay? What's the problem? Oh, okay. Well, he can come down here. That's fine. I thought he fell. It sounded like he fell. Oh, 3-year-old
kids.
Yeah. Alan, come here, buddy. Hey. Alan.
Like we always say, we're all doing real life.
Oh, it's real life around here.
Yeah.
Alan, come here, buddy. Someone is cranky about something. What's the problem? Come here. Come and see me. Did you get hurt? Hey, breathe. Calm down. Let me see your fingers. What did you do to your fingers? Can you say hi and calm down? Look. Oh, hi.
Hi.
You be happy.
How
You're
are
fine.
you?
Oh, say hi. Say, I'm Alan.
You look just like Daddy.
Yeah, bad. Yeah, you should see pictures of me when I was that age. Bad.
Aww.
And which is also the attitude. I get it. I'm like, oh God, he's me.
Yeah. Yeah, we have that one.
Yeah.
Attitude.
You good? You're okay. Why don't you go play with your chips and stuff over there? Okay. You're fine. Yeah. Clap. Yay, yay, yay. You're fine. Is your show still on? I don't know what you're doing. What's this about? He's doing this. I don't know what to do with my hands either, Alan. No. So the trip. I apologize. The trip. When you're staying for 3 nights, I believe that one's. I want to say it's close to $2,000 because of the amount of. I have to pay for fuel. I have to pay for food. I have to pay for a whole bunch of other stuff. And then it's the fact that I'm staying with you out there. Like I'm not coming home and, getting to be with my family that weekend. Like my time is important. So, and it starts at that. I don't remember exactly what what I've got it shaken out as. It depends because it changes depending on how many people are coming out. So most of my stuff is set up for 2 people. It starts at 2 people, and then it can fluctuate depending, like if you add 2 more people, it's going to be cheaper in the long run. You might add another $100 for that person to join, but if you have that person actually helping you pay the total, it's going to be cheaper on all of you. So
But that's not bad at all. I mean, you're essentially protecting and babysitting these people that you're taking out, and I
correct.
couldn't, ask for anything more. Like, I would love that somebody who knew what they were doing was actually staying out there with us and not just dropping us off.
Correct. I don't need
awesome.
anybody getting hurt on my trip.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody getting hurt. I don't need anybody. God forbid the heater was to go out and people, I come back out the next day and carbon monoxide took them out. Like, I don't need that.
No.
And their families don't need that. And so my main thing when it comes to ice fishing, the first thing is safety. I don't take anybody out until I've been out there enough to know where, if there's any spots that I shouldn't be taking people to. I've already been over it. I've already checked on it, and it gets checked. It gets checked weekly. Sometimes every other day. I'm going out and I'm logging the time of making sure that stuff's done. So that's the other thing that they're paying for, is the fact that I'm keeping up on that. So all of that, and then, like I said, the supplies and stuff, the cost is covering that kind of stuff. And part of it's also covering incidentals, like if somebody was to break a rod or anything like that. Stuff happens.
Yeah.
Stuff happens. I'm not going to be mad about it. If a rod gets broken, it happens. In fact, it might not even be your fault. Maybe something happened to it before we got there, and while you're holding it, it snapped, and that's just your luck. Like, it just happens.
Right.
Done it. So
no, your prices are extremely fair. I mean, you don't have to justify anymore. Like, I think that's amazing. You can't even go anywhere nowadays for less than $500. So you're talking about a trip for a couple people for $2,000 for a couple days. That's incredible.
And so that's the thing. I mean, if people wanted to, they can split it up. Like, it'll be a cheaper trip for you to come and do, if you did the 3 days and you stayed at a hotel, that's fine. Stay at a hotel for 2 nights. I don't care. That's a little less work on me, which is also why the price is less. And I'm not having to stay out there that whole time. We go out for 8 hours. You go to the hotel. I go back home. Next day, I meet you at the landing. We go out for 8 hours again, whatever. And that's fine. The only thing is if you want that full experience, you want the whole shebang. Like, you're going to be camping. We have a fire out there. I bring a fire pit. You want to have s'mores on the ice? Who the hell does that?
That's so cool.
That's summertime stuff, right? We're doing brats and dogs on over the fire and having marshmallows and stuff. And we grill. We've done ribs. We've done steaks. We've done surf and turf. We've done kebabs. All kinds of stuff on the ice. Like, we don't do the whole bring a sandwich and chips out. Like, you can bring chips, but we're having hot food on the ice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
you want hot food on the ice.
Yeah. One of the big ones too is I've had a lot of people that they really like this, is when we're out there, you catch a fish, and if we start getting into them good, and I'm like, are we keeping fish? Do you guys want to keep fish? And they're like, well, yeah, sure. And I said, well, do you want to eat them right now? And they're like, well, yeah. Now, it's part of your daily limit. We can't eat them and then catch more of your limit. But say you get 10 crappies a guy and there's 3 guys, there's 30 crappies there. We can each have a couple of them to eat and keep the rest of our limit for taking home, put them in bags and bring them, take them to their house. That's fine. Yeah. But I offer that too. I bring out Crisco and a cast iron skillet, and we cook them out on the ice, and it does not get any fresher than that. You'll have, I just get done filleting them, and sometimes they're still kind of wiggling on the ice, and they're frying in the pan at the same time. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's fresh. It's
perfect.
Super fresh.
So tell us, how do people book through you?
You can contact me either on TikTok, Facebook. There is a fishing booker app. If you use fishing booker, it takes there's a commission there. If people can contact me directly, fantastic.
Awesome.
I'd prefer it if it was just through me, but if you wanted to use Fishing Booker, that's fine. That one I'm mainly on that so that people that are already looking for guides are seeing me in there. So I'm taking a little bit of a cut that way because they take a percentage, because it's a, you know, they're using it to, or I'm using it to get me out there. But it's nice. I mean, I've had a couple people contact me through that too because they're already looking for guides.
Yeah, and then they'll always probably call you back now on
Right.
their own.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely going to drop all your links, all your information for anybody watching. They can contact you directly.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. I can't believe all that you're doing. Like, you are truly incredible, Brandon.
Thank you, guys.
Like,
I appreciate you reaching out and contacting me with this.
You want to send us some fish? No, I'm kidding.
Hey,
we have plenty of fish down here.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But not like that.
And yeah, because you guys are in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just don't eat anything freshwater.
You don't eat anything freshwater?
No.
Our mercury levels are really high, so it's kind of iffy. You can eat something and maybe not get sick, but there's a good chance that you probably get a stomach ache.
So mercury levels are high in Florida, you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, see, up where I'm at, the area that I'm in, I can eat fish all the time and not have a problem. So
yeah, I grew up in New Hampshire. You can get anything and eat it right out of the water right there.
Right?
Down here, no.
So
saltwater, you can eat anything.
I don't know you guys as schedulers or anything, or if you guys would want to do it. But if you want, it's on me. You guys come on up and come fishing. I'll take you out ice fishing this year.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
or next year, whatever year you know, whenever you're gonna do it. But if you haven't ice fished or if you'd like to ice fish, come on up. It'll be fun.
It's been a long time since I've been on the ice.
And if you want to come to Florida and enjoy some sunshine, you come on down too.
Yeah.
Because it is hotter than hell down here.
Well, right now we're overcast, a little bit of drizzle, but it's still 70 degrees.
Yeah.
Right. And I've fished Florida, and so the wife. I'll go back to the wife real quick before we're out of here, because you guys are bringing up Florida. I'm like, oh God, if she was here right now, she'd be like, I'm down, I'm coming. So
come on.
So for us getting married, she asked, she goes, because we were back and forth a lot as to what our venue was going to be and everything, and she goes, would you be okay with a destination wedding if you get to catch fish in the ocean? And I go, sold. You know, I'm like sold. But here's the deal. I'm like, how are you gonna find something that we can afford? And is everybody gonna show up? And I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, people like you enough. I'm sure that we can get a few people down there. So I told her, I was like, you find the spot and we'll make it happen. She found a spot overnight, and she showed me the next day, and she's like, we need to go here. It's beautiful. Dream Bay Resort in Key Largo. And the people are absolutely fantastic. We had a blast. Brian and Megan that worked there, and all of their staff, they took care of us really well. We brought rods down. We did a road trip. So we brought my sturgeon rods for sharks, and went down there, and I ended up catching the first night that we were there, because we stayed for 4 days. First night that we were there, I caught a black tip. We ate that. Tasted like pork, like the best pork chops you ever had. I'm like, oh my God, I need to eat shark again. The next day, caught a almost 8-foot lemon shark, about 200 pounds. That was a really cool one. And a lot of the family got to see that because everybody showed up that day. We were there a day ahead of time. And everybody else, when they showed up, that's what they got to see us, do it at midnight. And then the next day was the wedding, and the catch that day was the wife. So yay me! And the last day was a nurse shark. So that was pretty cool. We caught 3 different species of sharks, and I passed the pole around. Everybody got a chance to fight it a little bit, and so it was cool. Like if I'm working fishing into a wedding, and the wife is cool with that too, like what's that say? Like I'm
a good deal.
I'm the fishing guy, right?
Yeah.
She sounds like a really cool chick.
She's a cool chick. She's a cool chick.
That's awesome. Well, Brandon, you truly are doing so many different things, and it's been incredible to talk to you and get to know
Yes, it was
you.
awesome to have you on as a guest.
You
Thank you
are
guys.
truly an amazing man, amazing father, sound like an amazing husband. Don't
Thank
give up. You have so many different goals and so many passions, it sounds like. I hope that this life takes you wherever you want to go.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it so much.
Thank
You
you.
truly deserve it. And something I was thinking about when you were talking about your tours and stuff, if there would be any time, I don't know if you have service out there, but let's do this again. Take us
While
on
I'm
a tour
fishing?
while you're out there.
Yeah, if you're on the ice, let's do another episode of you on the ice fishing.
I would love that. It would
be
be
sick.
fantastic if we could make that happen.
Because then, for people, especially if you got people that are in Florida watching this
Well, anywhere, all over the world.
that have never done ice fishing,
Right.
to sit there and say, yeah, your tips are going up. People
Right.
don't know what that, So
right.
to be out there,
Most people don't know what that is.
yeah, to be out there and show, all your flags out and all that, and the Bob House and everything like that. It would be super cool to have you on and do an episode on that.
I'm all for it. I'm all if I
All
can.
right,
If I
he
can
said
show
it,
off
folks.
The fun that
He's
we
all for it.
if I can show off the fun that we're having, I'm all for that. I want people to know that life's enjoyable. Get out there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, then we'll plan it.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Well, and I'm gonna be doing TikTok lives out there too. Like I've been telling all my followers, I'm like, I know it's boring right now. I've been stuck at home. I haven't been able to go out, but you guys wait until I'm in my element. It's gonna be go, go, go. So
yeah.
And any time of the day, it might be middle of the day. It might be midnight. I don't care when it is. There's different fish to catch different times of the day. So
love it. Don't stop. You're going places, Brandon.
Thank you guys. Well, like I said, you're definitely invited up, and we'll have a good time.
Absolutely.
I'm down.
Thank you for joining us.
All right, you guys have a good one. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, and I'll be dropping all of your links for everybody who is interested.
Yes.
Appreciate it so much. Thank you guys.
Have a good one.